Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for once again coming to Words of Hope Community Podcast. Today we have a special guest. She is from Albania, and today's topic is going to be about Christian culture. And if we could, Ilda, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, sure, I can. Thank you so much for inviting me in your podcast, YouTube channel. I'm so honored to be with you today and to share my religion and belief and faith, and to share the Albanian culture and to talk more about what is the religion in Albania. My name is Ilda Bardi. Friends call me Ilda, and I've been living in States for 3 years now. And I came into US in 2017, and I'm studying here. So good to be with you today.
Thank you. Also, we doing the co-host is also Jasmine. Jasmine, could you introduce yourself too?
Hi guys, I'm also part of the podcast as well with Shannon. Nice to meet you guys. I'm excited today to hear her story.
So, just to give a little background about what we're going to be going into, it's about Christian culture. Here inside the United States, we have the blessing to be able to worship freely, any religion we want. Inside Albania, as Ilda would tell you, things are a little bit different here. So we're going to jump right into this. Ilda, if you can, the first question I think would be the great question. Could you explain the culture of Albania to us?
Okay, so in terms of the belief, when we think of it, and we had this conversation together or with other friends, and it's really surprising to see how much or how many Albanians are Muslim, or what is the belief in Albania. So what's the faith, what's the religion, how many people are Muslims, how many are Christian, and how many are atheists. Because when you think when you think of Albania, where it's located, it's just across from the Italy, and you think that we have like Albanian belief is Roman Catholics. But that's not the case. Like the most common religion in Albania is Islam. And the second most common religion in Albania is Christianity. And the third one is atheist, irreligious. So who falls under the Islam belief, under Islam system? There are two mainly groups, it's Sunni and Baktashi. But who falls under the Christianity are Catholic, Orthodox, and Protestants. And of course, we have atheists. So the reason behind this, when you think we have 57% of Albanian population are Muslims. And it's very interesting because we have been impacted from Roman Catholic, so we're supposed to be Catholics, but that's not the case. The first time that Albanian faith got introduced with Islam was in 15th century. So for people who know about Albanian history, we have been under Ottoman Empire for 500 years. So what happened is that during that time, like many Albanians converted into Muslims because they were forced to do it. They were forced in terms of they had to pay taxes if they were to be Catholics. So we look to the history, if you look to the data, we see, or even if you visit Albania and you meet people, you see that central Albania and the southern part, southeastern part is most Muslims. And the southern part, really, it's more Orthodox belief because of the impact of Greek culture. And on northern of the Albania, due to being especially Western Albania, since in that region is mountains. The people did not convert it into Muslims, because people could go and form those clans and could fight against Ottoman Empire, and Ottoman Empire didn't have enough control over over those clans, and so those people did never convert it into Muslim. So the majority of people who didn't convert into Muslim are north of Albania, and I'm like I'm from that area, from that region, and my family never converted into Muslim, so we have always been proudly Catholic. And so that's a little bit history behind the Muslims, why it's 57% of Albania Muslims, and then 10% are Catholic, and then the other are Protestants and atheists. We have atheists, and that's the reason behind that as well. So after Ottoman Empire like went away or fall down, then we had different regimes, and we had like in 1912 we got, as a country, we got the independence, and then like people were at that time we had monarchy for 20 some years, and that people didn't know where and what to do. So it was like kind of free what to do with your belief system. So, but what happened in 1941, the Labour Party came into government, and the Labour Party is communist party. Communist government declared at that time that Albania will be an atheist state. So for 45 years, almost 50 years, we have been under this communism regime, and then we were not allowed to have or to show belief or to have faith in anything. Like what they said is like the government slogan was, the faith of Albania is Albanianism. So for this period of time, like no one could go to the church. So all the churches and the mosque and everything turned into warehouses, turned into the function of the government. So many priests got killed, or like no one could go and have Bible study, or could go to churches, or could have freedom on their faith, because they were considered atheists. So no belief at all, no faith. And that was kind of when Albanian belief or faith kind of faded, because like they were forced not to practice it. So for my parents can tell more. Like I was born in 1988, so I didn't live through that period, but I kind of experienced the consequences of it. My parents could tell more about what were the consequences if you were to read the Bible. You'd go into the jail. You'd have really hard consequences, or you'll be persecuted, or like you shouldn't do that at all. So that's from yeah.
Oh, you could get killed for practicing religion?
No, you could go to the jail.
Oh, but they wouldn't kill you.
Yeah, the priest could get killed for practicing the religion. Mm-hmm. So in 1990, the communism regime fell down. So people like were kind of in the midst of what to do, because it's like deep inside their heart they felt like they're Catholics, but they had to convert, and because of the Muslim, like the Ottoman Empire influence, and because they forced it. So some of them were, of course, Muslims. Most of them were Muslims, and then there were some Catholics, and then the American influence came into after the borders, because we were like, when we were under communism regime, the borders were closed. No one could get out, no one could get in. Like you couldn't travel outside Albania. Like you were isolated. That's what the regime is about. So you couldn't read or you couldn't listen music, or you couldn't read books like We're Foreigners or nothing.
You couldn't
All
listen
you
to
can.
any. You couldn't listen to any.
No,
Sorry.
no, not Italian music, not American, nothing. If someone knew that you are doing that, they could spy you, and you could go to the jail. You could have consequences. So it was really like central focus, like, and the Labor Party. That's like what it means. So after that, like, people were more had that freedom to choose their faith, but still, they were Muslims because of that Ottoman influence. But the thing that came after this, since for 40 some years we were as atheist state, it kind of like the strong beliefs into the religion, it kind of faded, and we kind of came closer to each other, and we had like a harmony within us. It was in harmony within us because we respected a lot each other's belief and faith. So I have friends. I've lived with Muslim friends, in like when I was in college. One of my friends was Muslim, and she respected our faith. We respected her faith, and whenever we had celebration, we could invite her for Easter. She could invite us for Ramadan. So we really had that harmony between, and we respect, like, many like Muslims in Albania. They celebrate Christmas. They celebrate Easter. It's like, it's such a peaceful or harmony, or how to say, relationship between different religion that we have in our country, in a very respectful way.
That's good.
Do you think, since you've been over here in America, that we have that harmony when it comes to religion, or do you think it's just from what you have viewed different?
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like, since America is considered like a freedom place all over the world, and that's why everyone wants to come here, because it's the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the freedom of, being who you want to be, and doing what you want to do, right? So I feel like it's true, and I have experienced it here. And it's not like an influence, like, oh, you are a Catholic, why don't you, like, you are a Catholic, if you want you can join like Christian church, or you can join the Catholic churches. So I have friends that are Christian, and they have showed me where the Catholic church is, and they have introduced, like, go, it's not that influence, like, oh, now that you are here, you have to practice Protestant, Christian churches, and you have to go to Christian churches and practice our Christian belief. But I have made my choice, and I go where I feel comfortable. I go when I feel like God is, how the way the churches spread the word of God, the way how they spread the word of God in Jesus, how close I am with God and with the people that are at that church. So for me, like, I made my own choice, and I'm going to Protestant churches now. And I've experienced different, like, I've gone to different churches, and I have different experiences, and now I'm feeling good at the church I'm going, because that's really like where I feel like I belong, and I feel really good about it.
So, from my experience when I was over there in Europe, they would look like they was a little bit more accepting with Muslims and even atheists. But here, I feel like American culture, that they put emphasis on each religion, and they try to bash you with their religion at times, and like try to convert you. But over there, I think it's more harmony. But they don't try to convert you. They more respect you. If you say you're a Muslim, they ain't gonna be like, oh, you should go to the Catholic Church. I think it's more accepting. Religion is more accepting there than it is here, because everyone try to convert you here, unfortunately, instead of like respecting.
Mm.
Did you
Yeah, I agree with that.
have you experienced that? Like, what's your experience on that? Like your European culture compared to American culture when it comes to Christianity and Muslims, it's more harmony there, or do you think it's more harmony here in coexistence?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know. I'm located in Virginia, and it's a small area where I'm living in right now, and I see like the like Christian Christianity here. It's really like powerful, and there are so many churches, so many people. Like all families or all my friends here are like they are Christian, right? So, but when I move to other areas, like when I go to New York or big cities, like I don't feel like that connection like people have here and how they have it there. Like I ask people over there, do you go to church every Sunday? And they say, no, we don't. Do you do that? No, we don't. Do you do Bible study? No. So it's like, I think it's different. And that's what I'm experiencing here. It's not the same all over the place because, of course, I can imagine it's just a small place here. You know, it's not, and it doesn't represent the whole America, right? So I'm not, I don't think I can talk about the whole thing. I can just talk about my experience here. And I feel like here it has been really, you know, freedom for me to choose whatever I want to.
So, Jasmine, what about you? How have you experienced it inside your area when it comes
My
to different religions and stuff like that?
with religions, how do I experience it? Well, in my area, like for living in West Virginia, you know, it's kind of open, and then like it's kind of not. Like there's Pentecostal, there's Catholics, there's all kinds. But like in a way, I see what you're saying. Like I feel like people can kind of like push it onto a certain religion. And like for me personally, it's made me to where like, you know, I don't really want to be in a certain religion, like what they try to make me in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So, being a Christian, Ilda, inside of a majority Muslim country, how did that affect your experience? How did it help you grow as a Christian?
Yeah, as I said before, it's like the way how the relationship between Muslims and Catholics there and atheists. So we respect each other, and it's not that there are many like 57% of population are Muslims. It's not that we are influenced like from them. At least I talk about my experience in my city where I've lived. So I had many Muslim friends, I had Catholic friends, and I wasn't enforced from either of them to, you know, to change my religion or to change my belief or to change my faith. None. So I used to have a friend in high school. She went to Protestant church when we were in high school, and she kind of mentioned, because we were really close friends together, and she could go every Sunday church, she could go on Bible study every week, and she told me because we were close. So the only time when we weren't together was when she was going to church. And since I was Catholic, and since I knew the history behind my religion, you know, like being 500 years under Ottoman Empire, and only my region didn't convert in Muslims. For us, it was being proud of being Catholic, right? So and I did tell her, you never mentioned to me to come at your church because I'm Catholic and I'm not going to experience or to convert or to be to have another belief or to have another faith. Like I don't want to change my faith unless it's Catholic. So that was the only experience I remember that someone was trying to, you know, not to force me, but was introducing me, you know. And there are some other sectors that they come. I don't remember because there are so many different like religion, and it's called in Albania Yehovite. I don't know how it's called in English, honestly. they are, I don't know, the way how they want you to convert or to become part of their religion is not the right one. They come into your home, and they introduce you with their belief and their religion, but what they predict is not in alignment with what we believe. So we many times we try to, to not allow them, but not to be disrespectful, because in Albanian culture, if someone comes to your home, you invite them in, and you respect them. But for them, sometimes it was hard to tell them that this is my religion, and I'm not going to change it, and they're trying different ways to make you change it. But those were the two experiences I had back in my country, about changing the religion. But other than that, it's pretty respectful. It's pretty free now, and I know about being judged by others. If you change it, I honestly, maybe not really open. People do not say, but maybe in their depths, like in their mind, they might judge you for changing it. But I haven't experienced that.
Wow. So let me ask you this. How have your experience been as a Christian inside Albania compared to a Christian inside the United States? Has it changed any influence-wise, anything like that?
So in Albania, of course, I've practiced the Catholic religion. Not that much as I'm practicing Christianity here. And I see like there are some differences between both, even though they fall under Christianity, both like the Protestant and the Catholic. There are some differences which I agree with, like I agree with what Christian or Protestant churches practice. There are some that I don't agree with what Catholic churches practice. So for me, like I have really found myself in this in this religion, and I like it, and I feel like more open and more connected with God, and more related with the the belief and the faith. I feel it more comparing to what I did experience in Albania.
Okay. Jeff, did you have any question that you wanted to ask her?
Living here in the U.S., is there do you have many friends who practice your same beliefs?
Oh yeah. So mostly, like my friends are, let's say all of them, most of them, like 90% or more are Christian. So I'm influenced. Yeah, I'm influenced by them a lot. But yeah, and that has helped me a lot, honestly. Since I made the decision to come in the United States, the first year was really hard, and I've gone through so many challenges and hardships and being alone. And I found I found myself closer to God while I was on my own and by myself. And I think there is the moment where you really find that trick moment where
You go deeper with them.
yeah, oh yeah, there is God, of course, is a God up there, so, and it's for me. So and that's where I strengthen my belief and my faith. But yeah, most of my friends are Christian, and I'm so blessed to have them around me, because yeah, they're really nice.
That's good.
We actually did our last podcast with a friend we have in God, and I'm glad that you said that, because like being alone, sometimes there's a lot of people that's alone. God really, you really can grow your relationship with Him, because you have to give all to Him. So yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Um, did you have any more questions, Jasmine?
As of right now, no, not yet.
Okay. So we going on the 25-minute mark. Just closing out, how would you encourage people if they was to ever go to Europe and they was religious? How would you encourage them to embrace God over there? Because I know Catholic, it's very different. It's very different. When I went there, like we were discussing it last night, where we can't sing inside the church. Everything got to be. It's more formal than in. So, like, if someone was about to go to your country, what advice would you give them if they was a Christian? I think that'd be a good one.
That's a great question, and thanks for asking about it.
You're welcome.
So, as I explained before, it's like you have really to be careful. And I got this question from other Christian people, where like Americans, where they're going to Albania and they wanted to, to practice more and to find, to practice the Christianity and to try to not to convert. I'm not saying to convert, but to find more people and to practice it with people. But the thing in Albania is you have to be really careful, since everyone knows that is respectful toward their faith. You shouldn't push others to what you want them to believe. You have really to be careful on how you want to tell them what Christianity is and what are, like, I'm not saying the benefits like straightforward, but why they have to be Christian, why they have to believe in God, why they have to believe in Jesus. Because if you push them, I don't know, I think this might work all over the world, but since we are so respectful toward each other faith, we don't go and force them to change their belief in their religion, or to do something that for them doesn't actually make sense.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Do you have any last thoughts, Jasmine, anything like that before we close out?
Have you enjoyed living in the USA more than Albania? Like,
yeah.
Has it been easy transitioning over?
It wasn't easy because I had to give up everything in my country and to come here for the American dream. And I had to start over from beginning. And for me, like, I had like a real professional life back there, and here I came here and I had to start from beginning everything, and it wasn't easy. And like giving up from my job, from my friends, leaving my parents, my family there, it wasn't easy at all. But I have found like really good friends, Christian friends, and going to church has helped me a lot, and reading the Bible has helped me a lot, and being in groups of people who are really supportive, who are really nice, and of course those people are, most of them have been Christian, has helped me to go through struggles a lot. So I cannot say that I feel completely like better here or great here, because it's still a process and it's just 3.5 years being here, but I'm getting there.
I remember when we first met, you could barely speak English.
What?
Remember when we first met, you could barely speak English?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Was that hard too to learn English? Sorry, was that hard
I
too?
speak English. No, it's like I knew some English when I was back there, but the thing is, I learned a lot of English when I was in school, and I finished school, and then I kind of disconnected everything with English. I didn't read a lot, and that happened for 7 years. And when you don't practice it, you forget about it. And when I came here, I came all of a sudden, and I didn't have enough time to study and to to go through again the process of learning it, or like reminding about it or practicing what I had learned. So I came here and I had to start over from, beginning learning English. And the worst part is that I had to start a master's level. So I was going on master's with my broken English, which that was a big problem and was so hard, but I made it through. So I'm kind of proud of myself.
Was the Bible a different language as well? Like when you came to America, did you have to? Was it like
it was hard for me to understand in English, the Bible. Yeah, really hard. But now I'm doing better in English. So for me now, I feel like I understand better reading in English than in Albanian.
Well, we have probably went way over the time, but we really appreciate you, Ilda.
It was nice having you.
Yes, because
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I appreciate you too.
You have enlightened us with Albanian culture and just how it's a privilege that we have that we can worship freely and not have no repercussions if we want to pray and study and not go to jail and stuff like that. So that's an eye opener, especially anyone who comes here and just realize, that's humbling that our family grew up inside the church and it was never threatened if they wanted to worship God. So yeah. So we'd like to thank the audience. If you can, please don't forget to subscribe and click on Words of Hope Community at Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Do you have anything you want to promote, Ilda?
No, thank you for having me today, and I'm so happy to share, the Albanian culture in religion-wise. So, yeah, just if you have any questions, feel free to reach me out. My Instagram is MurildaBarde1. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilda.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording.